We are continuing our commentary on the Bible, chapter wise, chapter after chapter, verse wise, one after the another. Of each and every book, all the 66 books will be covered, 66 books. And we are starting here on Genesis, and we have done already chapter 10. Today we are going to chapter 11 of Genesis. It's a very important episode, so please listen to what all I say. Even in chapter 10 about God's life, I have spoken so that we may not have enmity or racism in this world while we live. We love one another and we love our neighbor and neighboring country, the people who are speaking different language. So in chapter 11, I think this chapter might be an occurrence between the generations of Noah. So it says in one place in chapter 10 that this is the time the land was divided on the face of the earth. So it's possible chapter 11 is sometime in between. So that is why we also acknowledge the descendants of Shem and Terah here. Because in their thing, in the descendants, we notice how city of Babel appeared also. So now the whole earth had one language and one speech. See, the whole earth was of one language and one speech. But in two verses it is said in Genesis chapter 10 that they were dwelling in different places, speaking different languages, and nations were divided. So which is not right. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. So this is Noah's children. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks, bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone and they had asphalt for mortar. So you see the development of technology slowly. Once they learned to cut stones and build cities and walls, so some cities were built like that. But here we see they started cutting bricks and for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. So I want to note an important incident in this passage, because we see here so far they were speaking one language and they were as one man together. They said they will build a city. City means actually a tower, and go up to the heavens. So God came down to see that. Just like similarly, God allowed Adam and Eve, let them be in the garden, and when they had disobeyed, God visited them, and then they saw they had already heard the word of Satan and ate the fruit. Now the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they have all come one language. They all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them." See, we were as mankind created in the kindness or in the likeness of God Himself. So God is a creator, and a lot of ideas come to Him, and He has many plans for mankind. So man also acquired all these abilities, so he was able to do different kind of things. So, but at the same time, God is not happy with that. He says, why man should have one language, and they are beginning to do anything they want, and nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. That means man, as this day he lives, to discover many things in mobile or internet or computer. So the technology is advancing every day, and man, different pictures come, different language come, and it's all happening all over the world. So nothing is hindered from mankind to do. Nothing is withheld, it says in the word. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's language and speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. So at the time of Babel, it looks to be that we were all of one language, we were all of one generation or one descendant, gathered together. But Lord, when He scattered from the Tower of Babel, we went to different nations and started speaking different languages. So I believe this is the time that the chapter 10, it talks about the verse 25 also, and we see verse 31, and somewhere in the chapter 10, that verse 5, separated unto their lands everyone according to his language. So now specifically Shem's descendants and Terah's descendants are marked here. Why? Because Abraham is going to come. Genesis chapter 12 is very important because God calls Abraham. How Genesis chapter 9 is important, where God called or saved Noah and his sons. So a generation is being kept alive, which are considered to be receiving the mercy or grace or choice or a calling unto them. So here Shem's descendants, this is a genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arpazad 2 years after the flood. Just 2 years after the flood, in verse 10. Notice this. 2 years, it is recorded here, and Tower of Babel has come already, and descendants of Shem, Ham, Japheth were told in chapter 10 itself. So Bible, although the chapter after chapter it is spoken, but the period or the year in which it was spoken, that can come before or after. So and he begot Arpazad. Shem lived 500 years and begot sons and daughters. Arpazad lived 35 years and begot Selah, and he begot Selah. Arpazad lived 403 years and begot sons and daughters. Selah lived 30 years and begot Eber, and he begot Eber. Selah lived 430 years and begot sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and begot Peleg. After he begot Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and begot sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and begot Reu. After he begot Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and begot sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and begot Serach. And after he begot Serach, Reu lived 207 years and begot sons and daughters. Serach lived 30 years and begot Nahor, and he begot Nahor. Serach lived 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. And after he begot Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begot sons and daughters. Now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So this Nahor, who is mentioned in verse 23 or 22, 23, 24, is different from the Nahor which are mentioned in verse 26. And in this series, we see in this reading about the genealogy of Shem, the number of years they lived on the face of the earth gets reduced. Even the first child, why the first child is mentioned, at what year he bears. So maybe 70, 60, 50, 40. And how long he lived, 400 years. and then it comes 300 years, 200 years. So the lifespan of mankind was getting reduced one after the other generations. So anyway, now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So Terah was father of Abram, about whom we are going to see next. And he also bore another son called Nahor and Haran. Those are all the three have peculiar or special purposes in the Bible. This is the genealogy of Terah, verse 27. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot. Now you understand why we spoke about Haran. Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur of the Chaldeans. Then Abram and Nahor took wives, and Abram's wife's name was Sarai, and Nahor's wife's name was Milcah. So that is where Nahor is very important. Abraham's brother, but uncle of Isaac. The daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. It's a big verse in chapter 11. Why? Because here is where we notice that Terah was the one first came out of the land of Chaldeans. So when we say the land of Chaldeans, which the name they are going to receive afterwards, but it is recorded in the Bible as though land of Chaldeans, because we never heard about Chaldeans. So Chaldeans appear later. And so here, actually from that land, God called Terah to come out. First, Terah comes out with him, Abraham, his son and grandson Lot. And from the go to the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. So the days of Terah was 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now, in verse 23 we see Sarah lived 200 years and begot sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begot Terah. And he begot Terah. After he begot Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begot sons and daughters. So that 119 is very young age. He almost reached 120 years in his lifetime. And we know we have two numbers as far as mankind's span is concerned in this world to live. One is 70 that is 70 plus 10, 80. And but another place it is said maximum how many years he can live, 120 years. So we fluctuate between the age of 80 to 120. So anywhere mankind is dead. That's what we notice. And so as I said, Terah was the one who actually came out, and Abraham receives the blessing, which we're going to see in the next chapter, 12. Genesis chapter 12 is very important. Then God made covenant with Abraham, how he is going to call him, how he is going to call him blessed. And that we will see in the next chapter. So with this episode it gets over. Please watch all the episodes one by one, maybe many days, but you will know about Bible and how they are written. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and be blessed. God bless you. Amen.